The 2024 NFL season was a roller coaster, but no team really embodied the highs and lows of the NFL quite like the Dallas Cowboys. Week to week, they felt like a coin flip. One game they'd dominate, the next they'd collapse. Of course, we're talking about America's team, or as many call them, America's most hated team. The Cowboys are always in the spotlight, whether it's Jerry Jones making headlines by putting his foot in his mouth, or Dak Prescott's every throw being dissected in training camp. There's one constant, and that's that the NFL media is always watching, and a lot of them are hoping Dallas fails. And before we go any further, if you're into real, no BS football talk and team breakdowns like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like the video. This channel is all about honest takes, not just hot ones. Back to the Cowboys. They feed off the drama, the unexpected home losses, the playoff heartbreak, because let's be for real, for every Cowboys supporter, there's somebody else waiting to see them fall flat. But the real question is this: can they finally silence the noise in 2025? Can they rise above the pressure, shake off the postseason ghost, and get back to being a real Super Bowl threat? Let's break it down. So, what went wrong in 2024 for the Cowboys? It was their 65th season in the NFL, and what would ultimately be the final chapter under head coach Mike McCarthy. The Dallas Cowboys turned in a forgettable campaign, but that's not to say it was short on headlines. After a strong Week 1 victory over the Cleveland Browns, the annual Cowboys hype train hit full speed as it always does, but the brakes slammed quickly. Back-to-back losses against the Saints and the Ravens in weeks 2 and 3 left fans confused and critics grinning. By week 6, Dallas sat at 3-2, heading into a marquee home matchup against the Detroit Lions. What followed this was an embarrassment, a 47-9 blowout loss that sent shockwaves through AT&T Stadium. And unfortunately for Cowboys fans and Cowboys players, it didn't stop there. The Cowboys dropped 2 more games to the Niners and Falcons, sliding further out of relevance. But the biggest blow wasn't on the scoreboard. As many of you know, in their Week 9 match with Atlanta, quarterback Dak Prescott suffered a partial tendon avulsion in his hamstring, a serious injury that requires surgery and ultimately ended his season. By the time wildcard weekend rolled around, the Cowboys weren't playing, they were watching. Another season of promise derailed, another offseason full of questions. So, to kick off the offseason, it was a pivotal one for Dallas, a franchise that is in transition. With Mike McCarthy officially out and a new era looming, the Cowboys reshaped their roster from top to bottom. Let's start with the quarterback room. With Dak's sideline and questions about his long-term future, Dallas made a somewhat surprising move, trading a 5th-rounder to the Patriots for former Tennessee standout Joe Milton. He brings an absolute cannon of an arm, but major consistency questions. And then at running back, the Cowboys loaded up on more depth, signing running backs Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams to cheap, short-term deals. Neither is a star anymore, but both can fill in behind whoever emerges in a very crowded backfield that now includes rookies Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa. The biggest splash of this offseason, however, was the trade for George Pickens, giving Dallas a much-needed physical wideout to pair with CeeDee Lamb. Pickens brings juice after the departure of Brandon Cooks and gives this offense a legit jump ball threat. Now, up front, the Cowboys continued their tradition of investing in the trenches. Despite heavy criticism, they took Tyler Booker at number 12. But let's not forget, Jerry Jones' track record on drafting offensive linemen is above average. Think of Zack Martin, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick. If Booker follows this somewhat mold, the Cowboys might have struck gold once again. On defense, they re-signed Osa Odingzua, pardon me if I said that wrong, to a massive $80 million deal and added pass rushers Dante Fowler and Peyton Turner. But losing 2 longtime leaders in DeMarcus Lawrence and Zack Martin, one to leaving the team, one to retiring, they leave big shoes to fill on this roster. Cornerback Kaiir Elam was a smart flyer via trade, and in the draft, Siobhan Ravel Jr. might end up being the steal of this class in my opinion. He's long, he's fast, and physical. But he did tear his ACL last year, which dropped him down on boards, but he's a perfect scheme fit for this Cowboys defense if he can stay healthy. This draft also included Donovan Ezioraku, apologies if I said that wrong once again, a twitchy edge rusher who has late first-round buzz, and Shamar James, a rangy linebacker who adds versatility to this second level. Now, focusing away from the offseason and more so about the outlook of this team, let's talk about the Cowboys' offense heading into 2025, and most importantly, Dak Prescott, who might just have more pressure on him than any other quarterback in football this year. On one hand, Dak is entering his 10th season with the Cowboys. He's got over 31,000 career passing yards, 213 touchdowns, and a 66% career completion rate. In 2023, he led the entire league in touchdown passes and also looked like a legit MVP candidate. And that's not an opinion, that's production. But then 2024 happened. He got hurt mid-season, the offense collapsed, and suddenly the narrative flipped again. Some fans blamed the injury, others pointed out that they were 3-5 before he got hurt. So was it really the injury or just the same old Cowboys story? And now here we are in 2025, and in my opinion, this is it. It's make or break. Dak has 4 years left on his contract, but nobody's really thinking about long term right now. They're asking one thing: can he finally get it done when it matters? Because let's be honest, Dak's regular season stats are very solid, but his playoff resume is shaky, and it's been nearly a decade of maybe next year in Dallas. That said, he's got help. CeeDee Lamb is still elite, of course. He's got over 6,300 career yards, 500 receptions, and he's been that guy since he entered the league. Now he's paired with George Pickens, a legit jump ball threat who brings edge and attitude to a group that needed exactly that. And this offensive line is quietly still a strength. According to PFF, Dallas ranked top 10 in pass blocking efficiency last year. And yes, they took heat for drafting Tyler Booker at 12, but they've earned the benefit of the doubt from me at least when it comes to offensive linemen because their track record is borderline elite. But here's where the cracks start to show in this team. The running back room is definitely a question mark. Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, that sounds good in 2019 or 2020. Jaden Blue might be the upside swing, but this is all still just a might. The interior line lost Zack Martin, and that's not just a hole. It's almost like a black void. Most of all, though, this is a new scheme under Brian Schottenheimer, so we really have no idea what this version of Cowboys will look like until the bullets start to fly. So, in my opinion, the question isn't just can Dak bounce back, it's what happens if he doesn't. Does Dallas double down and run it back once again next year? Or is this the year they finally start thinking about life after number 4? Now, if you think the offense has question marks, let's get into the defense, because depending on who you ask, it's either a quiet strength or a ticking time bomb. On paper, Dallas has pieces. Micah Parsons is still elite, a freak of nature, maybe the most disruptive defender in the league when he's used right. But that's the catch. Right. Is he an edge rusher full-time? Are they dropping him in coverage again? Are we getting 2021 Micah or confused deployment like we've seen too often? And then there's pass rush depth. With DeMarcus Lawrence gone, Dallas is banking on a patchwork group. Dante Fowler, Peyton Turner, and rookie Donovan Ezeuraku, who, for what it's worth, had a 25.8 pass rush percentage win rate last year at Boston College. That is elite. But banking on a rookie to anchor your pressure is a pretty big gamble. Inside, Osa Odigizua got paid $80 million, so now the spotlight's kind of on him. Can he dominate as the centerpiece of this D-line? Because if he doesn't, there's not a ton of depth behind him. And at linebacker, it's even more question marks. Kenneth Murray Jr. was a trade flyer, Shamar James is a rookie, DeMarvion Overshown is coming off an injury. If you're confident in that group, you're braver than most. And the secondary might be the biggest wild card of all. On one side, you've got Trevon Diggs, who's still rehabbing from injury. On the other side, Deron Bland, who had a breakout 2023 but cooled off last year. Adding in rookie Siobhan Ravel, who's built like a press man demon. He's coming off a torn ACL and played against weaker competition. This could go either way very fast. Even PFF called out Dallas's run defense as a major red flag, and if this offense can't control tempo, it could expose those soft spots in a hurry. So here's the real debate. Is this a defense with upside built around one of the best edge talents in football, or is it a patched up unit relying on too many ifs and maybes to survive in a loaded NFC East? And now as for me, honestly, I'm torn about Dallas. On one hand, I do think the Cowboys have everything they need to bounce back. We've seen this core, Dak, CD, offensive line that's playing at a top 5 level. This isn't some wild projection, just go back to 22 or 23. This team was putting up points, winning games, and Dak looked like a legit MVP candidate. If he gets back to this level and George Pickens ends up being the complement everybody thinks he can be, this team has the facilities to make the playoffs again. The O-line is still solid, the pass protection is top 10 by numbers, and the weapons are there on offense. It's not out of the question that they could win 10 or 11 games. But I also wouldn't be shocked if this team went something like 6-11 or 5-12. That's what makes Dallas so frustrating to figure out. From a person like me who's not a fan of any team in the NFC, I don't really care about the Cowboys. I have no hatred towards them like some fans. It's just hard for me to sit here and predict them one way or another. One week I could see them dominating, the next they'll get run off their own field. There's a lot of new this year on this team. It's a new coach, a new system, new pieces, and I'm not anti-Brian Schottenheimer. He brings energy and experience, I can't lie. It was a surprising hire in my opinion. He's not really been the guy anywhere, and now he's taking over one of the most polarizing franchises in all of football with Super Bowl expectations and a fan base ready to explode either way. My real take is that the Cowboys could be anything. A dangerous sleeper, a total flameout, or stuck in the middle again. So I'm not going to plant my flag either way, because no matter what you think about the Cowboys, you're probably right in some aspects, but also probably wrong. Let me know your take in the comments. Is this the year Dallas finally figures it out, or are we headed for another collapse? All in all, that's wrapping it up for this one, but don't click away just yet because this is just the start of the conversation. I want to hear your thoughts. Are the Cowboys legit playoff contenders with something to prove, or are we going to watch the same story play out? Big names, big hype, and bigger letdown. Drop your prediction in the comments. Record, ceiling, floor, whatever it is, I'll be replying to all of them. And if you're into honest breakdowns without the usual hot take noise, subscribe. We've got more team outlooks, scouting breakdowns, and college film coming soon on this channel.